Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Today we should not have any connection issues. Yesterday was whack and it happens about once a month. I wish I could switch service providers. Now we are still in this sideways price action. Something we were mentioning over the last couple of days was the SPY was suggesting that it wants to move sideways, and it seems we see big move. Ooh, kind of getting smaller, kind of getting smaller, kind of getting smaller. Maybe we end up in this until we see a decision with the FOMC. So something we'll pay attention to is that for today. You need those daily expected moves. 609.02 to the upside, 604.56 to the downside. Now that is for the SPY. We're just going to leave that up for a split second here. Make sure you get those up on your charts. I don't know. This is in red. We need it in blue. There we go. All right, then we want to go over to the Qs just to show off those daily expected moves, and now you see where we're at. Well, we're up by the weekly expected move, meaning if we do get outside of this or even up towards it, hey, the likelihood is to land up in this area or even down here by the end of the week. So we are only at Tuesday and the Qs are already way too excited. This is what I was kind of fearful of, because as you start to go vertical, you start to invite the chance for downward pressure, but we are still looking for a look like this right over here now, right? We did not actually do that. We ended up, and you can see how we were able to do it. We gapped up, and that's a big reason that that wasn't able to fall down. So this means, hey, that's not the top, right? This is not the top because we gapped up and we got rid of the divergences here. So maybe the 30-minute pulls back and then we see that divergence form in the near future, right? That's something we'll pay attention to for the Qs. I think the Qs will give us a good hint, but we do have daily expected moves for this 542.16 to the upside, 534.18 to the downside. Now we're going to talk about the most important chart I think I'm going to be paying attention to will actually be Google. I actually think Google is one of the most important charts. If you're part of Patreon, you know why I think it is really, really important right now, and it is showing dramatic divergence here on the MACD, on the RSI at the same time. And you're actually seeing that pop up on a 2-hour chart. So this means the 2-hour can still be in pullback mode to get some kind of move higher, right? We always want to pay attention to how far away we are from that center line. We have a lot of room here. So if we see any kind of 30-minute signal in here, we got to pay attention, and that might be another upside move. But we can see Google, like a lot of other stocks, really seem like they need to tap out on the daily. They need to move sideways, they need to pull down, they need to retest breakout areas like this one at 182.50 for Google. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is some kind of pullback or sideways price action to head higher, because if this market keeps going ballistic, I'm really going to be worried about some kind of waterfall of selling coming in for 2025. I really am, because, you know, what goes up, it's kind of like AVGO right now, right? AVGO, you see how this is just going straight up. Well, a lot of the time, if this cannot do something like this right now, then it most likely will give up a lot of that to go reconnect with a 5, reconnect with a 9, reconnect with the breakout area. So this isn't something that I would short, but this is something that is going vertical, and sometimes you need that drop to really help you out. I think maybe it was, there was one stock that kind of gave it, but I can't remember it right now. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was, oh crap, what was it? Ah, dang, blanked. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, I'm sure we'll see it at some point today. But for now, we just have to see that volatility is trying to turn up as of today. Remember that daily is crossed up, the 2-hour is crossed up, and we are leaning for a test of 1504. Have we gotten that test of 1504? We are getting it right now. So you are getting the test of 1504. You notice you are violating the divergence, suggesting that the daily does not have too much weakness here. And do you have any weakness on the 30-minute? No, not necessarily. So any kind of little 30-minute pullback for the SPY could actually turn back up into positive territory. We'll see how these things happen. But if this pulls down too far, then you're probably going to see the SPY be able to break out this morning. So that's something that you can look for. But most of the time, we can see if this can just keep moving sideways and then make a decision. Probably on an important day, and that important day would be, I think, tomorrow, right? Isn't that tomorrow? Let's go double check for you real quick. Make sure we know exactly when the data is coming out. It might be Thursday. Nope, it is Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday at 1 p.m. my time, Fed interest rate decision, the FOMC economic projections, and then 30 minutes later, or an hour and a half before close, we will get the Fed press conference. So that will be tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see what stocks do until about this area right here, and you'll see that would take us about 70% through the consolidation, through the triangle, which is very, very nice because that's usually when you'll see a reaction. So I'm leaning towards this continuing to move sideways until we see a decision moment, most likely with the FOMC, and then we can see a reaction up and see if any reversal signals happen, because sometimes the first move from FOMC ends up being some kind of ecstatic move up or some kind of big dramatic move down, and then we end up seeing reversal signals and it's actually the wrong way a couple days later. So we'll pay attention to that for you. $10 from Finn. Finn, good morning, happy trading, and thank you. Hey Finn, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for the $10. I'm sorry I didn't see it right away, but thank you so much for the $10. Really do appreciate that. Hope everyone's doing pretty well. Was that the stock you wanted to talk about, George? MSTR, okay, maybe we want to talk about MSTR. MSTR is going pretty up too, right? Now, I'm critical of MSTR, but this is, okay, yeah, this is a type that I wanted to look at. Once we actually do see these vertical moves, you notice that we're able to tightly base out and then see another one. That's great, but you're inviting something like this, right? You're inviting something like this to happen once you go to vertical, and weirdly enough, I think the Qs are kind of starting, if they go up higher than here, just in that vertical for another day or so, you're kind of inviting a moment like that. Some kind of corrective move down to your, look at that, the 20, right? You get outside the Bollinger, you go to the 20. So if the Qs keep doing this type of behavior and we keep heading in that upward direction again, you're kind of inviting, like say you got above your daily expected move today, you're kind of inviting a pretty decent sized drop of like 4 or 5%, pretty quick. Okay, pretty quick, but we'll just pay attention to the signals for the most part. Right now, we don't even see 30-minute divergence, so we would not have any hint of weakness in our 30-minute chart. The 2-hour chart is still relatively holding, actually. So if you notice the MACD, we see this downward move, but that hasn't even turned down yet. So that would just be something to pay attention to, but realize that is bullish. Right? We just want to be able to react if that crosses. If that crosses, it is suggesting we are going to get the daily pullback, but pay attention if you can get screwed, because look at this. We crossed over right here. It looked like, hey, the daily pullback is coming. And then guess what? We whip right back up. That's why we manage our trades. But like I said, I'm not overly excited to short anything right now. I think this is an extremely bullish market, and I'm more talking about reversals and finding those reversal signals to see the actual good opportunity where the risk becomes a little bit less and the reward gets a little bit bigger, right? Now, for the SPY, I did want to talk about a few key levels here. Okay, so we're kind of stuck in this little area, and what are the two levels that we really want to pay attention to? Well, weirdly enough, it would be very, very good above 610, like 610, or if you're doing SPX, it would be 6100. The place where things start to get a little bit scary is down below 600. Okay, so 600 and 610 look like the areas to really pay attention to. Once we do see a break of this, do we give that up or do we hold it? Because that would be pretty damn bullish. Now, do we cross this and do we not pop back up, or do we use that as rejection and start the downtrend? That's going to be something very important, but just note, I think we will remain sideways until FOMC. Gosh, Finn, buying me some coffee this morning. Good morning, investors. George, thank you for bringing up MSTR, because that was a great example. I don't think it was the exact one I was looking for, but MSTR is an example of that. You know, you're up 8% one day, you're up 8% the next, you're up 8% the next, and then the next time you're just down 16% over the next 2 days, and that's kind of what I'd be paying attention to. It just means like there's a time as a trader where you have to be like, okay, is the risk getting too high for this particular stock? I'd actually say for the SPY, you're getting rid of a lot of the risk, and it's curling up on the 2-hour, and it's kind of suggesting like, hey, this could be a good thing. The only thing is we haven't gotten that positive curl up, right? This is on a negative bar. This is on a negative bar and at the end of the day. So you'd want to see a nice green bar like this, and then you can just go, okay, well, how high up is that maybe supposed to go? Well, let's see if we can get a measured move. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to break out. We're going to head to 614, right? And then you want to be like, oh, if that breaks to the downside, okay, well, then we're going to head down to the weekly expected move. So that's just what I'm paying attention to. I need a green bar here to really help me out. NVIDIA's in some pain. Yeah, NVIDIA's in some pain, and some weird things that I was noticing. You know, I was looking at some stuff and I was just noticing, I don't think a lot of people, or at least a lot of Wall Street, is buying NVIDIA. Weirdly enough, I think they're stacking up in other semiconductors. I do know AMD dropping off pretty dramatically here with some divergence. This is why I'm not trading AMD ever, is because I do not trust these signals. The monthly has divergence, even though it looks like, hey, this could wind up, make a big move. The daily scale has divergence. Well, maybe when that completes, I'll make a decision. Maybe when this proves I have good momentum for an extended period of time, then I can make a decision. Then we can react all the way up to 144. We can do something like this, all right? But just from what I'm seeing, it seems like Wall Street is positioning not necessarily back into NVIDIA, which is very interesting because NVIDIA has the divergence on the weekly scale. We'll see. This is going down to a weekly expected move this morning. We'll see how it reacts around those areas. But 127.74 was the first level that I saw, hey, that's where on the daily scale we could actually get to. And that's where I'd really start to pay attention, because that looks like the end of the zone for the breakout area, right? If I was making a zone for the breakout, because this is slanted, I have a lot of room in here to bounce at any time. So what we want to pay attention to is that first breakout now. That's why you would make the zone all the way down by this high right here, is because that was the real breakout that caused the positivity to break through the rest. So it's actually going to, potentially test the very important level that it actually broke out from to cause all the positivity. And that's what I'm really looking for. The daily is still by the center line. So if that can curl up into positive territory, hey, you got yourself a potential positive move. But if you can't start to retake these levels up here, if you can't start to retake the breakdown area now, or retake 135, that's going to be a big problem, because you always open up the door for a retest and rejection. And then I'm sure everyone is talking about it now. Everyone that you guys follow is probably talking about a Head and Shoulders. And let's take this point right here just to make it kind of clear. We can see that that would drop us down to about 116 for the time being, or a test of the 200. You see how that lines up? So pretty much NVIDIA is saying, hey, I really want to test the 200. That's what the signals are saying right now. If they flip back around, we'd want to be paying attention. You'll notice that the 2-hour did have divergence, never confirmed, dropped again, and we'll have to see if that's still there, but I highly doubt it for the MACD and RSI. Might just be gone. IWM and the DIA, both of these guys have been dropping, and continue to drop for DIA. So the Dow Jones continues to drop in these areas, dropping below the 20, while the Qs go to a new high and the SPY goes sideways. So an interesting time to be alive. And we'll notice that the IWM is trying to bounce as of yesterday, but kind of giving it up. Maybe it is consolidating in this area. We are looking for a 2-hour divergence to help us out, but we're not necessarily seeing that pop up. As far as it goes, the 30-minute could give us that indication that we could be getting a 2-hour bounce soon if the base is created here. If the base is really strong here, we can see a solid move, and then we'd watch out for a little bit of structure to head down to maybe create a 2-hour divergence. I think that would be something interesting, but I'm going to pay attention to any bullish signal I see out there. It's just when the bullish signal I see is on AMD, I'm not very excited about it. If it was on NVIDIA, if it was on Apple, if it was on Microsoft, something like that, yeah, but we're noticing that Microsoft and Apple and all these other stocks are really way up. So Meta's one I want to keep an eye on the daily scale. Just if that thing crosses, that can be a hint of a little bit more weakness in the market. And obviously we will be paying attention to volatility today. Volatility, remember we were leaning towards a test of 1504. So far we're getting that test and we're breaking a little bit above it. So we'll see what happens. Just interesting that volatility holding up pretty well here while the market was still going sideways and overall going upward yesterday. So one thing I was paying attention to was VIX 9-day as well. Big reversal signal, big hint here from the VIX 9-day. All right, big hint here from the VIX 9-day. You've built up in this area. I mean, I think with volatility, we can draw a lot of some kind of diamond structure in here. You'll notice we're trying to break out of that area. Most likely we haven't created the right side of that, but I would really pay attention if that 2-hour crosses up, because that's really close to the center line. You've created all the divergences for the base. You came back down for the dip, and you came down into an area where you want to create a higher low. And you did confirm at the end of yesterday. It was just on the last bar, so you want to see that continue. But VIX 9-day is hinting if that can really confirm up that volatility is coming in. And the daily scale is something to pay attention to for the VIX 9-day. Thank you again for who showed it to me, because I love looking at this now. You notice the rejection move. Okay, we look like we were going to turn down and then we reject off. So it'll be very important if this can start to make a good upward move for the time being. All right, guys, let's go look at the open so far. The SPY ending up at lower levels to start the morning, but remember, we're just in this area, all right? Now, that is a dramatic drop for the morning. We'll see what happens. The Qs do not have reversal signals, and they haven't tested the daily expected move. So these will probably be important to watch. Again, we are outside of the monthly, so if we needed to drop and scare some people a little bit, just look if we do use that as support. If we start to confirm down bigger time frames like the 2-hour, that's when it becomes a problem. All right. XLU confirming a double top. XLU's already been weak for a while. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so and it gave us the divergence. So we were paying attention to this because if XLU is showing dramatic weakness, a lot of the time the SPY will follow that, okay? So you'll notice this big run up. What are we getting from the SPY and the Q? Big run up. And now we're seeing this big downfall, while DIA, while IWM downfall, but the SPY still holding sideways overall in these areas, right? So we're looking for if the SPY is going to drop. And you're dropping today, but you're still in consolidation. So I wouldn't be overly excited about this. And your Qs have not even tested the daily expected move. And that's really the bullish thing, is the Qs, right? If we really want to pay attention to what the SPY is going to do, we might want to see what the Qs do around this daily expected move, if we're even going to get there. I think it's highly suggested, especially if this is able to confirm that you're going to end up down in these areas. And then you want to see if you're able to turn back up. Looking for this, right? Looking for this over here, now right over here. Very good eye, Pablo. Like it. I'm going to chug some coffee. Yeah, and it does make sense, Maurice. It makes sense. People might be positioning themselves. That could be hedging for the most part, right? We could just see a little bit more hedging for the time being. Going into a big event, I know a lot of people were talking pretty badly about TLT, but we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit. How much support there is in this bundle here, because you spent so much time building this base, and then you just drop off with the little 2-hour rejection divergence up here. This will be a great support level. This will be where buyers, you know, have a high probability to step in. All right. And look at that, and look at our drawing. And I'm gonna bring this up again. We're kind of looking for something like this. Look, we built a bunch of liquidity in here. We see the move, we get a big drop, we go into that liquidity, and then we end up going higher. And look how this can really shape up to what we're in right now, right? So that's kind of why we have that circled over there. It's just to show we had that big drop off and then boom to the upside. We have the big drop off. Now this will be very dependent on FOMC, but we can notice that if that just crossed up, where would it be? Positive territory. So we like the signal. It looks a little bit like the past, so that helps us out in looking at what we're going to find here. And if this just crosses up on the MACD, hey, we can see positivity, all right? We can take out that high, go make a new one. This could just be a big reaction, and then we end up in a big liquidity zone. Quantum computing, yeah, I've been looking a lot into quantum computing. One that I was looking at was this, RGTI. I was looking at this one because it really looks like, to me, the 2 hours is going to give us some kind of pullback here. And this is kind of where that waterfall moment can happen. You see these big moves now, these big wicks starting to happen. And this is where we can start to go, oh no, and then you go back down to these areas, or even go down to the breakout area, which is actually 350. But if it goes down to 350, I'm looking for reversal signals. If it gives me this in any way, I'm looking for that reversal signal. I do think this one is pretty good, and it's pretty cheap, so I do like it over time. IonQ. is another one. IonQ is a good one, and look at that, great move higher. Even with the divergences, you make the next move higher, and that's fantastic to see. That's what you want to see, is you want to see, hey, here's your pullback, right? 2 hours said a pullback was going to come. There it is, right? There it is, and you see the daily was able to confirm down for a little bit of time there. But where did we go to? We went to the 20, and then we found a base, and we headed in the upward direction. Now, did we get hints of this? Well, the main thing you got here was a rejection for a higher low, and then you see that 2 hour confirm up, and you go, if that's 2 hours confirming up, hey, maybe this will be a lower high, but it doesn't mean I can't see what happens and then go, okay, I know how to manage my trades. And then look at that thing head to the upside. So now you have violated those divergence points, so it is very likely that even if IonQ sees like a little pullback like this, we go like this, it is very likely to make another move higher. Very, very cool. Another one people wanted to look at was, those are just the ones that I've been paying attention to, QBTS. Yeah, I've heard about this one. And do you see how vertical it is? And that's kind of a problem, because this one is holding a reversal signal on the 2 hour MACD, or the RSI, sorry about that, the 2 hour RSI. So that's going to be a little bit of a problem, because the daily is just screaming higher, screaming higher. Now, this doesn't have to stop, right? We've seen crazy things happen in this market. But for the most part, we would say, hey, where would we like to... All right, he doesn't want to play. Bruce, chill out. He doesn't want to play with you this morning. But we can see that maybe a test of that breakout area. Sorry about the that was Alan. He doesn't like Bruce playing with him too much. We can see a breakout area here. Maybe we just go and test that, but you do invite a quick... Oh my God, Luke's eaten by his dog. But you are inviting, when you start to do this, you're inviting a moment where this can happen. Now, does it mean I'm going to short this? No, I'm looking for the next opportunity to get into something like this. Right? It's kind of like Tesla. Should I short this? No, this could have a waterfall moment though. That could end up being a great opportunity later, right? When everyone goes, oh my God, it's crashing, you just realize, hey, this is headed up for a long time. I don't have divergence. If that crosses up again, I can get right back in and be very level-headed. GME at 31. We got to talk about GME. Oh shit, that's actually a big deal. Sorry about that. That is a big deal. So I was paying attention to this 2 hour, and I was really trying to go live the whole day. It's just my freaking cocks. This is where the battle begins, guys. This is where the battle truly begins, is right here for GameStop. Okay, everyone's paying attention to the fact that we've consolidated. I am too, and that's why I was paying attention if this 2 hour can really curl up. It was unfortunate it did it at the end of the day. So this is where the battle will really start. Just know they are not even short selling this too much as of right now for GameStop. And GameStop, great breakout, but a great breakout. This is the best it's looked. Now, what do we say a lot of the time with stocks that can make moves outside of weeklies? Well, you want them to consolidate and break through into that weekly expected move so the move is strong. I think you would rather have seen a gap up and then go, personally. But we'll see if AMC can start to catch up. That thing is down, down, down. That is not what you want to see from AMC, but we'll see if this curl up has anything to say. It does lean us towards, hey, there might be some more time to create a strong base here. But if GME can take off, if it can keep taking off and keep taking off and keep taking off and get to like $50, really, I think around $40 to $50 is where it starts to affect AMC, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly, Fardis. And it's going to gently pull up AMC, but we will notice that it will need to go to something like 40. You'll need to see it start to break out like completely. That's when I think it will really affect AMC. Very good breakout, though. This is why we pay attention to that 2 hour. This is why we pay attention to, ooh, this is really holding up pretty well here. We're getting down to these areas. What'd the daily end up doing? Oh, well, the daily went outside of the Bollinger, went down to the 20, and now we're going to cross up. Let's see if that crosses up into positive territory. That would be extremely bullish. for GameStop, but you have to understand the other side of the coin, guys. I'm not just going to sit here and do what everyone on Twitter does to you guys. If you're looking on Twitter and they say, it's always tomorrow, tomorrow's the day, tomorrow's the day. Today can be the day. It can. This is the best thing to happen for GameStop, to see the thing happen, right? But we understand this is our 68% zone. This is where they are going to fight the stock. That's why you want this thing to go nuts. You want this thing to go nuts. You want that ability to short the stock. You want this volume to just keep going. Because if you start to get some short seller behavior up here, this is where it's going to happen. And AMC is not even close to it right now. But I was paying attention to GameStop, and you guys know I pay attention when a lot of people pay attention when implied volatility is really high. I actually pay attention to when it's low, because you have a better chance of getting through that with something unexpected. Do I see resistance at 32? There's a very obvious resistance at 31 from the previous move. You can see the high coming in. So you could say 32 is most likely in there as well, right? We can draw a little box right here and just say, hey, that's where resistance came in. Okay, anywhere in that box. Ooh, where are we? Okay, we're there, right? But if we want to find resistance a little further out, look at this. You don't really have the most. I mean, my next resistance point, I think it would be 47.57. That's what I'm saying. If we can get up to there, that's where I think it really helps out AMC. But we understand this right here is an overall fight. We understand GME, AMC does not look like the best reversal signals right now. It can start an uptrend, but we'll see if that ends up fading. The 30-minute, I believe, doesn't even have divergence down here for AMC, so that's something key. AMC just does not look the strongest. So this is where, if I was, trading this is why I like to have two positions, because this is where I can convince myself to sell. I did not have an option position for GameStop this time around. Let's see if I can do something here. There. Apple, more downside. Apple is one that is interesting right now. You're seeing that curl up though, so the 30-minute not able to confirm back down. For Apple, it's the 2-hour now crossing up saying, hey, I have a little bit more time to extend higher. Well, I'm paying attention to a weekly expected move for sure for Apple. We're going to, I gotta change something real quick. Something's funky. All right, cool. So yeah, for Apple, really paying attention to the weekly expected move, and I believe it's really close. Yeah, it's getting closer. Getting closer, but you still have room. And look at this RSI. Like, this would be a very dramatic divergence right now, but notice all the flatness here. You're just looking for that to get a little bit more significant. A pop-up to something like, 254 would make sense here. Go up to 254, then we start to see resistance, but we don't really see the weakness on the 30-minute that we'd like to. All right, you're coming up to these even points, so those could just keep pulling back and crossing back up. Tesla just keeps going. This thing's mean. I was looking for this to get to the weekly expected move. I did post, I can't remember where I put it. I think I just commented back to something on Twitter actually, but I said anything above like 471.95 is going to be an issue. Because, yeah. You're in a tough spot there. Dixie. Ooh, curled back down on the 2-hour just now. Interesting. How's our buddy Nail doing? Not good. Not good at all. Yikes. All right, we're starting to see this thing build back up. Let's just go over to the Qs and chill for a little bit, huh? See how we've gotten rid of that crossing? We'll see what happens. And then I'll keep my eye on GME on my other screen for you. But right now you're in that battle time. So if I go into it 1 minute, it's probably gonna look all spazzy now. It'll be like, oh, big breakout. Oh, retest on the 1 minute of the weekly expected move. That's fantastic to see. Like that. Why is Google volume so insanely low? Let me go check real quick. Let me look at the volume, how it's gone up or down lately. This is my indicator I've been trying to make. Been working on it. That's some good volume that actually came in here, so this might be an end of day thing. Just so you know, like every stock that you see, obviously right away in the morning, you're gonna be like, oh, the volume's really low. Look at it by the end of the day. If you're really paying attention to volume, you should really be paying attention to the last hour of the day. That is when 30 to 40% of the volume for the entire day comes in the last hour. Why is that? Well, retail is in the morning. The big boys come out in the afternoon. So, yeah, volume looks like Lester, but yesterday the volume was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Yeah, power hour. That's just when most of it comes in. Now, you can see big moves during the day in certain stocks, but just know if you're seeing light volume in the morning, you're probably going to see bigger volume in the afternoon. Look at that rejection, though. So this is why we were saying boom or bust, because right now it's saying boom. That can switch over to bust pretty quick, right? We're not overexcited, right? I'm looking for the opportunity to get back in, possibly, because the daily doesn't show the most weakness there. But we can notice that right now it's booming, so it's not going to give me an opportunity just yet. And you'll notice the 2 hours not giving that opportunity either, right? It's still overbought. It's still showing divergence, so I'm not going to YOLO into something. We can definitely look at Palantir real quick. Palantir overall just moving sideways, right? We can really see it's moving sideways. And the thing with Palantir is you don't want that to cross down like this. I don't think you want that to cross down like this. That really adds up to potential for a lower high. I don't think that's good. Now look at the daily. Has that crossed down? Is that starting to get a little bit more? Well, when do we want to pay attention to when this daily crosses down? Well, you have to see it in the price action too, guys, okay? You have to understand, yes, this has crossed, but you have not given up the 9. We 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 have not given up the 9. When do you want to pay attention? When it's different, right? We're giving up the 9. So this has 6 hours left in it. It is showing 2-hour weakness and momentum because you are showing the lower high on your MACD right there. But you've seen this before, so let's really be patient with this one. Let's be patient and just say, is this difficult to short? Yes, very obviously difficult to short. If I'm a position guy and I don't mind scaling into a short position that's going to be 3, maybe 2 to 6 months out, okay, awesome. But I want to pay attention to the bullish thing most likely here because this MACD is very, very high up. Right, this tells me, where do I really want to go retest? Well, I want to test in here. I want to test in here. Anywhere in those areas, if we're able to hold up, that would be very, very bullish, right? If we're going to go lower, then you might end up waterfall selling down to something like 45. Isn't that crazy? I don't think that's really a likely thing to happen. I think you are more likely to test somewhere in this box right here, and then you're going to see that be able to create maybe a divergence to help you out on the way up. But I do not see major reversal here. I see it on the RSI, so I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, but I'm not trying to buy this before this confirms, right? If this just keeps going down, am I going to buy because it's keeping going down? Am I going to buy because it's crossing the center line? No, I'm going to wait to see if that gives me a 2-hour divergence. I'll like it, I'll like the hint, and I'll take it early. If I'm a little nervous about it and I don't want to take the 2-hour divergence, I can see if that daily crosses and go, okay, now the daily has crossed, get a little bit worse price, but know that I'm very likely to test the high, go make a new one. I can make a weekly expected move for the next week, and maybe we just see that move all the way to there, and I go, okay, awesome, that's what I'm targeting, right? But the point here is to create a mindset that is more centered around how risky is it to take something right here? How risky is it to short Palantir? Well, you might sit there and be like, I'm very confident with how I short things. Maybe you do things a little different than me. But for this market to be so bullish, it's just difficult for me to be like, yeah, I really want to short. I really want to short when this thing just keeps doing this and this and this and this. Look, this. Every other day, you're just getting another curl up. So very difficult to short. GOOG to the moon. Let's go, Mr. Pickle. Boom or bust. Boom or bust. Google is the one we should be paying attention to, and it's booming. So you're not getting the bust just yet. Maybe you never do. But Google, great move to start the morning. One thing I would be looking at is micros. I'd probably be looking at a 15 as well, just because you see this little blip here. That's all I'd be paying attention to. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So still want to watch as long as this is holding. But once again, I'm just paying attention to this to see if the daily pullback's going to come and to see if a 2-hour pullback's going to come. I'm paying attention for bullish opportunities. I just really want to make that very clear. I keep looking at these signals. They don't look good, but I keep saying I'm not going to try to short something. I might take some calls on volatility, right? I might take a VIX play in some way, but I can just be very quick with that. I don't have to put a lot of money behind that, and I can just watch the SPY, and if this thing curls back up, I can go, okay, I'm okay. I don't need to do that anymore. All right, I don't have to take some huge play. I pretty much have like a very, very small hedge size position. Going down with the next two phrases just pops up again. Well, they put out, you know, they probably said something about, I think it was Google. Was it Google that said something about quantum computing or something like that? Like I said, all you have to do in this kind of market today is just say a few buzzwords. If you have the buzzwords down, then you're going to realize really quickly, oh, okay, if I just use those buzzwords, I'm good. Like for Tesla, we talked about Tesla. The past 3 years, they have said that they're going to put out a cheaper EV. Well, they've said that every year for 3 years, and it still hasn't happened. Yo, Bruce is on one today. He's like, go. Google released a new chip for quantum computing. Exactly. And see, that's better news, I think, Willow, because you actually have a physical thing behind it, right? He's excited the internet's working. Me too, man. But yeah, I like that better then, because if you actually say, like, I have a physical thing we're working on behind this, I like that better. I'm going to check on GME real quick. Let's go see how that bad boy's doing. We know that it's in the area where it's supposed to get fought against. Ooh, and we're back below it. But, no, yeah, we're back below it. And that's why we pay attention to those levels, guys. That's why we say, you know, always managing risk. What does that mean? Well, if I know that options are cheap and I have, let's just really embellish here and say, I did not take an option play with GME on this run right here, just so you're aware. Usually I do have something small and then I take profit on half the position at a weekly expected move. Okay, but I did not take a position this time around. Okay, we see that good move up. We see that start to hit the key area, and this is the good part about you being a part of this channel. This is why I thank you guys so much for subscribing, because this is very helpful. Everyone else is going to see the breakout and they're not going to pay attention to this area. You can pay attention to that area, see the options premium scream higher, and then go, okay, I'm going to sell that other position. Maybe I have 2 positions and I say I'm going to sell one, that way I make my money back, and then I'm going to leave the rest in case something crazy happens. That to me is the safest way to do options with this. Wait till you see good signals. see that good signal, maybe confirm, see that this was another higher low, and see that we've gotten some good run-ups with it, and then go, where's my weekly expected move? Okay, awesome. That's where I can take half profit. I can pretty much play with house money at that point, and then if something crazy happens, I'm not out of the move. I just made money. I paid attention to risk in the move. I'm not trying to make $1 billion. I'm like, if I have, 50 contracts and this runs to $100, well, I can sell half of those and make 2.5K. I can make 2.5K for every price above, 40 or something like that. And say 60 times 2.5K. Like, that's how I see it, but maybe I'm crazy. Anybody think I'm crazy? Probably. BTCT. Yo, can I type? Bitcoin digital. Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. Well, you might go down to 254 to test the breakout area. Let me try and measure this real quick. I'm just looking at my other charts. I mean, I guess. Either way, we're going to measure these 2 points. Where is this thing going to stop, man? I think it's this point I want to measure. I want to take the breakdown. Yeah, weirdly enough, it kind of measures down to 250. Yeah, so for BTCT, there's just not a ton of good signals. You have a bunch of like really spread out 30-minute divergence here, not on the RSI at the same time, and you're just, first of all, right away in the morning, crossing down for this guy. So I just don't like this look. This is bad. You have a lot of things going on here, and I understand that this looks like, hey, it could create a divergence. I'm not trying to convince myself that a divergence can be created, right? I just want to say, oh, okay, this is really bad. That's the first thing I should say about this. This is really bad. It's the first curl over in negative territory, right? The first curl over, what happened? It continued. Even this curl over right here, what happened over time? It continued. So I want to treat this very seriously, like this is really bad. And then I might keep my eye on it, let it do whatever the hell it wants to do. If it holds up like this and then you see a move like that and it crosses back above the 5 and we see this start to confirm that divergence, that's when I'd be paying attention in positive territory. But that is the only thing I see for this. Just note, if you are looking at this right now, look at it on the daily. Look where we would react to, the 200. Where's the breakout area for this stock? Well, it's actually all the way down towards like 250, right? So you might be heading for that 200. The easier thing to do here, by the way, well, you got to be aware you could see a moment like this, but just before that moment happened, you had a daily cross up in positive territory right here. So couldn't I just see if that gives me a cross up, right? If that gives me a cross up, or if 2-hour divergence pops up very cleanly, but most likely you're going to have to build liquidity down here. I highly doubt this is going to be a big reaction down, V-shape up. It most likely will need to create a stronger base before it can head in the upward direction. But that would be on a 2-hour chart. I'm looking for that. The daily's by the center line. So if I'm just patient, I see the daily do that, and I go, okay, awesome. We can test this high, maybe go make a new one. You're still close enough. But that's not a good look for a stock. I'm talking about reacting if things turn around, right? That's not a good look. You do not look good on the 2-hour. You do not look good on the 30-minute. You do not look good on the daily. All right, GME actually starting to pop again past our zone. Very, very good. See if that daily can confirm up. How's AMC liking it? Seems to be liking it pretty well as of this moment. And we notice that the SPY is continuing to hold below the daily expected move. Let's keep an eye on the SPY. Because right now that 2-hour flipping back down is not a good sign. It's really close to negative territory. So how this works when you are consolidating, right? This is kind of interesting, but how this works when you're consolidating is you're going to see a lot of moments like this in sideways consolidation where you get a cross up and it's like, it's go time. Then it crosses down and you're like, it's go time. When do you actually pay attention? Well, if you notice that you're doing things like this and you come up to here and you fade it, you might want to just be like, okay, let me make sure that this is going to confirm outside of my consolidation, all right, outside. So this 2 hour crossing like this, yeah, it looks bad, but wouldn't it look a lot more clear if it did that and closed a red bar like this? That would look clear. That would take us into negative territory. That would take us to the daily pullback, right? But where it's at right now, I'm just thinking, this might have more time until FOMC. Good look. Tesla still ripping. Way past. Wow. Even. Whew. Yo, Tesla's on fire. Did they try to short sell Tesla? Did the short sellers still have this for Tesla? Like, I'm genuinely wondering at this point. I'm genuinely wondering. I know he's doing a bunch of stuff. He's even thinking about making email and stuff like that for X, and I'm like, sick. But my goodness, that's going to run into a problem soon, I think. It's either that's going to run into a problem or the short sellers have run into the problem already. All right, Qs still haven't gone to that daily expected move yet. How we doing? Yeah, Fardas, I was hoping that you were able to catch that. I really wanted to try to look at it for you seriously. The only thing I would say about that one is you're seeing dramatic downside. So be nice and patient. Wait for a very clear 2 hour signal, or wait for a very clear swing trade signal. Okay, that's only one push high, right? And then we faded the next one. So it doesn't have to go to those levels again. You're starting to go negative on the daily. That's why I don't want you to get caught up in like just taking something now. It's like, just let the signals produce everything for you and then click the buttons. That's what I really do every time. ATOS is the new GME. Oh, God. A toss. And you have a 30-minute signal. I'm long on another account in a loss. Well, if you believe in that, maybe there's a way to make it cost averaged a little bit. ATOS, I hate the look from the 2 hour. The 30 minutes, okay, but that's a 30-minute in a drop like this. I'm not happy with that. No daily divergence. So this is worrisome because that was a long period of time. Is this a weekly lower high? Fudge, if that's a weekly lower high. It is a weekly lower high. Okay, so that's a weekly lower high. Okay, and you've built a lot of liquidity in here. Like you can see how extended this was on the weekly. You see that cross back down, actually cross back up and then cross back down again. So right there is your very easy confirming bar. Where could we head to? Well, first of all, you're testing an area that was the breakout area. That was the test of the breakout area right here. And then now you're in that level again. So this is where you could be looking for bounces. But just note that this is very, 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 very bad. You have a weekly going negative after confirming a lower high, right? So that means like if this wanted to make a full extended move down, you're talking 33 cents potentially. You've never been down there before, so probably not the most likely thing. So if you're treating this like GME, right? If I'm treating this like GME, what do I need, right? Let's just keep it simple. I need the daily to go positive. I need the 2 hour to go positive. I need the 30 minutes to go positive. So what do you need to happen first? You need this little 30-minute divergence to produce. If that never curls back up, then it is never a good play. And then if the 2 hour doesn't follow, then it's not a good play. If the daily doesn't follow after that, it's not a good play in my book. GME is still trying to do the thing. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. Hey, AMC, you're up 2% now. Congratulations, AMC. Your dilution might be done, right? Maybe the price point they wanted to buy out was $4 with those 50 million shares. Who knows? Amazon, ooh, not good to start off the day here. Rejecting on the 2 hour. Uh-oh. That's a rejection divergence. That means a daily pullback can come here for Amazon. Once again, still just paying attention to our breakout areas. Amazon's nice because you have a nice little gap there. So that's where I'd be watching. Right, see if you can cut that for a minute, find those buyers, come back down to the 20. Once again, just in case this just whips right back up, I am not shorting this. I want to be very clear. When I'm talking about downside right now, I'm looking for the opportunity back up. I'm going to keep being clear. NVIDIA looks like trash. Like, that looks bad. But we already kind of measured it out, right? We already kind of measured it out. And where would it test? Well, it's going to test right here. This is where we want to start to pay attention, right? We want to start to pay attention to our little breakout area that actually started the run. So this is where we can see what happens. AMD, not looking good right now, AMD. That's why I don't trade you. Screw you, AMD. But Google, yeah, here we go from Google. This is kind of something I was worried about. Didn't really mention it because, hey, I want to make sure I'm treating the signals very seriously. If this is rejecting, I want to call it rejecting. I don't want to put my opinion of what could happen right here too much, because that can ignore the fact that this is a bullish thing. If that 30-minute crosses down, it's bad. That's all we're looking for. Am I going to short it? No, I am not, because of the daily. I just want to see a daily opportunity, and that could just be like this. So I'm not going to short anything, really. I can take my little volatility play because I trade it all the time and be plenty happy with that. Okay, now that the SPY is dropping down, I want to see if the Qs are going to the daily expected move. So this is where we got to pay attention to the Qs, guys. When will the bubble burst? When World War III starts? With the environment that we're in today, it's kind of like this. And I've explained it this way before, and people need to take this into consideration as well. We explained it this way over the summer because a lot of people asking for crash over the summer. We got crash signals over the summer, right? Leading into, I think, late summer, we had some crash signals, and we were treating them very seriously. And people are like, oh, it curled back up. Exactly. So that means more time. Whenever it curls up, that means more time. So when will the crash actually happen? Well, I want you to think of The Big Short for a second. I know it's a movie, but I'm more saying I want you to pay attention to what happened during that time, during the financial crisis. There was a problem. Those people who spotted the problem spotted it and said, this is a problem right now, but notice it took a lot of time to happen. Why? Because people who are in charge of these things are ignorant to it. They're oblivious to it sometimes. Like, if you think seriously right now, Jerome Powell could actually believe, really think about it. What if he's not being deceitful and he actually believes we could get soft landing? Being genuine, like, what if they actually believe that? Like, people can be just blatantly wrong with something, just like in 2007, 2008. They did not see it as a problem. Other people did. And so what I'm trying to get at here is, the thing is, even when they knew, they finally weren't ignorant anymore. They weren't ignoring it. They weren't being stupid. They weren't being oblivious with their greed, and they realized it was a problem. It still took more time because they made it so it wouldn't do as much damage to them as it could. It still did a bunch of damage, but it could have done a lot more. It could have done a lot more. But they posted, right? Remember, there's a big portion of the film that just shows, like, they're like, oh my God, everything's worth trash, but the value of our thing is not going up. They did not allow the value of the assets that were, say, shorting the housing market to go up, because they wanted to make sure to scramble to get better positions to take control of some of the damage they were going to experience. And I think a lot of that is going on right now. That's what I think. So when will the market crash? When it is in their best interest to do so, when they won't experience as much damage. That is most likely when it happens. When they realize, oh, we messed up, let's try to clean up our mess a little bit, and then we'll just let it go, man. Like, that's what's going to happen most likely. What's going on with NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA is breaking down because it has weekly divergence. That's why we were paying attention to last week. Now, you'll notice that we're starting to bounce from a key level here. 127.74 is my line for the first. You notice it's green, right? Why do I have that there? I didn't mark that today. I marked that a while ago, right? Why did I mark that level? That's our breakout level. 127.74 is the breakout level. Now that goes all the way down to 125. You notice that's another breakout there, but I want to take the top-ish of this wick. I really was trying to put it right on that wick there. And we retested that level again here. So I want to be paying attention to 127.74 because I think that's where we could catch a bounce, right? Now, do I think that'll be some kind of big recovery? Well, if the 2-hour confirms up, it says it could be. So what you're looking for now is, can you take back 135? If you can take back 135, you probably have this daily curling up and you probably have a daily uptrend again. But this thing is going negative. Am I overly going to buy this? This is not the one. This is not the look for me to buy the dip at this moment, right? I'm looking for better opportunities somewhere else. But you could say that this is a potential moment where a swing trade could set up. But you're very far away from the moving averages, so it really adds some probability to, hey, this could just reject from those moving averages first. I don't think you have the strongest base here. Obviously, you do not have some consolidation like we did here, right? We don't really have that. Yeah, you don't really have that right now. Yeah, Mr. McLevin, I hope that was overall helpful, but we're testing a breakout area. We broke out from right here. We gapped up, we went. Right? We took this high and we gapped up and we went. So that is why that green line is there. I'm marking off that breakout area to see, hey, do we just go test that? Because a lot of the time when you see a big breakout, you see a big retracement, then you start to curl back up. That's why I'm kind of worried about Tesla. It's like Tesla has 2 breakout areas. One here, that'd be fine, but one way down here. That would be very scary for Tesla investors. And I'm leaning towards this one, but I'm not going to short Tesla. That thing is just ripping. Google, got to keep our eye on this one on the 30 minutes. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a lot, guys. I just think there's a lot to pay attention to. How's BlackBerry look? I'll look on my other charts real quick. BlackBerry, yeah, I was looking at this the other day. What I overall was noticing from BlackBerry was how much liquidity it made at the base. And I was looking for, hey, when did that daily curl up? And you'll see for something like BlackBerry, if you just pull out to a daily and you just look at this and you go, hey, when do I want to take a play to the upside? Well, it would be when you have a positive move in positive territory. So when were those opportunities? Well, you could see how you can get tricked a lot, but the opportunity would actually be on this curl up. Why? Because it's closer to the center line. This curl up, you'd feel pretty safe. Why? Because it's in positive territory. This curl up, why? Because it's close to the center line. This curl up right here because it's in positive territory. This curl up right here because it's close to positive territory. It's really, really close on this cross up, and that's when you see positivity, right? Now, if I was really looking at this seriously and I just go, hey, I saw weekly divergence right here, I'm going to buy in this area and I'm going to hold the damn thing and see if it makes a run, and now it's making a run and you can make your decisions with your money, right? If we think very simply and we pull out of things, we can see these blips on the MACD. We can see that held some pretty damn good divergence on the MACD here, and it crossed up, and that says, hey, now we're building liquidity. I'd feel pretty good about that, and it crosses up. Then you could say, hey, is this curling up on a monthly? Well, you have monthly divergence as well. So BlackBerry is saying that it could experience monthly momentum to the upside. That's what it's saying. There's an opportunity there. It does not mean that this stock that is down has to experience that. It does not mean it has to go up to $50. This could slowly go up for 12 to 24 months to like $16 and then fail. This could slowly go up and bounce around back and forth around $3 to $10 for a whole 2 years, right? But if I'm managing risk and I know these things are curling up, I see a monthly divergence, usually I'm pretty confident holding that, especially with a stock that's this low, because I don't have to risk a ton of money, right? I could buy 1,000 shares of this, and then if it ends up being a good investment for 12 to 24 months, and maybe I get lucky and that goes to $50, let's say $30, right? Then I just times 10 my money, right? Turn $3,000 into $30,000 pretty quick. Pretty dope. So I would look at it more as an investment. I'm not thinking options is a great play here. It would make sense if you want to try it, but great move so far. We'll see if that continues. Maybe that's benefiting a little bit from GME. Oh. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Apple reach in. Sorry, I'm just clicking over here for just a second. All right, let's go to the Qs. I still think these are very important to see if it's going to hold up at a daily expected move. Just know tomorrow is the important day, guys. Tomorrow's the really important day. And just know, if we sell off for like a couple of days, I'm just being genuine here, we sell off for a couple of days, be very open to the daily swing trade to the upside. I think a lot of people are going to start, if this sells off in the next couple of days and we sell off a little bit, I think people will be taken off guard. And I think they won't be paying attention to the opportunity that could actually set up for the Qs, for the SPY and things like that. But we don't even have to sell off. I'm just saying, if we were to, we're looking for bullish opportunity. Even right now for the Qs, you don't even have divergence here. Look at that move from the SPY. It's probably going to get you to go like, oh, that's really, 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 really bad. Could be. Starting to go negative. But the Qs haven't even tested their daily expected move yet. We might even get a flash move outside of this and then buy back up. Kind of like this wick right here. Which I do need to adjust that a little bit. All right, starting to break down. 2 hour. Cross down, not a good sign. Starting to actually break the zone, not a good sign. This is where things can get a little sketch. Now, this is the ultimate signal, though. This one right here. The Qs, because they made the upside move, I think you need to pay attention to them more. You're outside of a monthly expected move, making a reversal signal. Nobody's really, as far as what I'm seeing from people talking, no one was, as far as yesterday, literally yesterday, I just typed in NVIDIA on Twitter and I wanted to look what the sentiment was. Every retail person I saw posting, every institution I saw posting about NVIDIA said, oh, this is NVIDIA giving us a dip. This is NVIDIA giving us a dip. They're probably hurting today because they really thought that yesterday. Once they switch that thinking, that's probably when the dip will get bought. Funny enough. Ooh, 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 ooh. Good stuff, man. We like it. I'm still paying attention to the GOOG. Still paying attention to the GOOG. I think the GOOG matters. I think that's a great hint. So Google could end up back below 180. Google could end up back below 180 by the end of the month. It would make total sense. GME goes outside of the weekly expected move and everything sells off. Isn't that interesting? Very, muy interesante. See if volatility is giving us anything. Not really. Nice. It's like finally UVXY getting a nice breakout. That was my little play. And TLT starting to rip. A little bit. Qs aren't even outside of a daily if you're getting really bearish. Tesla's all I care about. SPY Company does this. I'm not completely bearish yet. That's kind of what I mean. I'm just chilling. Like, look. Like I said, you know something a little bit better. Like this is the benefit of it. You know that the Qs aren't even testing the daily yet. You know that the SPY has this little blip here. If that breaks, you can start to be a little bit like, oof, that's a little rough. But you want that to confirm the whole bar at this point. Because it's very likely we're just going to keep going sideways until we actually get FOMC, and then we're going to see the decision made. And what we're going to pay attention to going into tomorrow is most likely not a 2 hour. It actually might be a 4 hour chart or something like that, and we're looking at that for a couple days. What's the Qs daily? The Qs daily expected move. We are about to get to it. The daily expected move for the upside, 542.16 to the upside. Then you have 534.18 to the downside. Let me just click on that because they're close together. Yeah, 534.18. And you are at that point right now, but just notice the 30-minute just crossed. So we could do this completely back off thing, really fake people out on the SPY, and it would just be a 30-minute pullback. Maybe this is a massive trap and we're gonna not see 30-minute divergence. Qs do not show the 30-minute divergence all the time, weirdly enough. So if this 2-hour crosses, that's when you can start to have some bells on and say, ooh, now I can wait and look for the next bullish opportunity. I can take a short position if I want, if I'm confident in managing risk. Netflix 30-minute divergence. Now, we've seen tons and tons of 30-minute divergences for Netflix, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, you are seeing the 2-hour divergence. This is something that I would be more convinced by. Now you can maybe see a 30-minute lower high. And if you get that lower high, it is very likely to cut through this low, right? It's likely to make a new low. Now that will move back and forth. You want to pay attention anytime this 2-hour crosses up and it's near positive territory. But for now, what do we see? The daily really wants to be pulling back and we keep making higher moves. And now we've had the 20 catch up. So even if you just did this, that would be maybe all the pullback you get. Now the real place that I would like to test is here, right? Something along the lines of 865, and then the other area would be right here, 838. So that little zone right there is what I would be watching. Actually, I'm going to draw a zone because I don't have a lot of drawings up for Netflix, and it keeps remaining bullish. I really like this. Now, let me pull it across so I can see. And where did we reject that red bar from? Right there. Okay, so that's my zone. If we can hold up in this zone, more bullishness to come. We might hold up a little higher, but I'm paying attention to here. This is where I think the risk becomes worse and the reward to the upside becomes better. In my opinion. Let's see here. That's don't want that to happen. We got some big divergences on the volatility, but that is kind of scooping up. It might just be that test there, and you kind of have made a tiny little double bottom. Very interesting. And volatility is starting to pop off. Daily scale starting to pop off. Weekly scale. If that turns around, we're in trouble. I think we have more time. Now the SPY might be breaking. Sorry, I'm clicking around a ton today. Nope, it's not breaking yet. So it's come on, break it. Break it. Yeah, so I don't really see it on the 30-minute. I see a lower high, Justin, but I do see it all over the 2-hour. Why, yes, Tesla's all I care about. Hey, man, you should be a happy friggin' camper. Ooh, wait, maybe not so happy. Oh, no, Tesla. That's all right. Maybe you'll get a 2-hour pullback or a daily pullback for an opportunity. Just know that weekly expected move should have helped you out here. Right, we hit a weekly expected move on a Tuesday morning. That's usually where things get a little sketch. Yeah, I'm not saying that's bearish, by the way. I'm saying it might be, you would say, small term bearish, right? Or there could be some selling that leads into a pullback for the next opportunity. That's what it seems like. I might actually hop in with you, YS. How about that? If I see the swing trade there, I might hop into it with you because that monthly's turned up. It looks great. I don't know why. I should have been confident with that monthly turning up. 483,500. I would lean towards next week for that. I would lean towards, for me, you know, you have your own assessment. Sometimes we differ on things. That's great. I love it. But I'm more leaning towards, hey, if we can just do something simple, just some simple little move. Like, look, we have another breakout area, right? So you have a ton of these now, right? You have this, you have this. So if we're going to be light, ooh, that, hey, maybe next week you get there. Maybe this week you do, if you just do that. That'd be cool. But I would really think the opportunity is here. And then we see that extended move where we can go past 500. That's what I would like to see. Yeah, either way it decides to do it, I'm just hoping it gives me an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, frickin' hey, man. Who knew that this little 2-hour curl up right here, and then curled down on a 30, curled back up, broke out, and then just went for a monster run. Why so much red today? Probably because, well, NVIDIA was the indicator that we needed to pay attention to last week, right? This should convince us if NVIDIA is going to experience weakness, we can experience weakness. Once again, over the weekend, we talked about how, what is it? Apple's outside of the monthly, the Qs are outside of the monthly, Tesla outside of the monthly, Amazon outside of the monthly, NVIDIA not, Meta outside of the monthly, Microsoft outside of the monthly, I believe Google outside of the monthly. So you pretty much have higher probability for pullbacks to lower levels for the rest of the month, but that just means there might be an opportunity. That's why I told you I sold my NVIDIA play. Why? Because there was too much risk in the market. I don't know how it's exactly going to play out. It's a lot of strong moves, and I'm just scared that something bad's going to happen one day. And so I just go, it still looks like we're going to remain bullish, maybe for another move into 2025. So I can just take my risk out of the market, let it play out, watch for the daily pullbacks, take an option, take a play. People think that sometimes the Santa rally does see it a little bit later, like 2 days before Christmas we've seen it. And then it's sometimes it's extended into 2025, like it's happened right after. Yeah, it's kind of a thing, right, Dave? Why are they going down today? And the thing with that question is, are you looking for news of why it's going down? Are you looking for news why it's going down? Are you looking for a signal of why it's going down? Or are you just, looking for, hey, was there risk of us going down? Well, we've explained the risk over the weekend, why I, had my calls in NVIDIA last week and I sold them for a profit very quickly was because the risk. They've not really seen the type of correction we're used to. Well, and hopefully they were, I hope that everyone learned something for that potential, quote unquote bear market we had around 2022. Stocks should go up every week. Yo, I agree with you. That'd be sick. We just buy stuff and it just goes up all the time. It's like an anti-Santa rally. Here's what I'm going to say. If you see a 2-hour divergence in December from this point on that looks bullish to you, that's probably your Santa rally. If we see a daily swing trade turn up, that's probably your Santa rally. As of right now, are you getting a Santa rally? I'd pay attention to tomorrow. Right? We still have news tomorrow. This could all just be like rebalancing everything before people buy stuff tomorrow after that news. Look at the keys. They haven't even, they're at the daily expected move. Like, this really isn't as bad as you think. Bitcoin's having a sell? Ooh, we haven't looked at Bitcoin today. So Bitcoin, I'm worried about this at any point. I still think that extended move higher looks pretty good for Bitcoin. Like, I don't think it has a bearish signal confirmed or anything like that. I'm looking at my other charts. The reason I'm paying attention to it now is because anytime you curl back down this daily, you're noticing 30 minute. Let's see if there's anything on the 4-hour. See, nothing really on the 4-hour. Nothing in the near price action for the 4-hour. So most likely it continues, but the daily. Now that you have confirmed up on the daily, it says bullish, bullish, bullish. We keep getting these wicks and you're starting to see sell-offs in the market. So if this confirms back down, treat it very seriously. This is Bitcoin. Divergence is one of the most helpful things with Bitcoin. All right. So if this does this, sometimes when you get these Bollinger Bands tight, all right, actually decent amount of the time, you'll stretch them in one way and then go the other way, because usually when you're stretching this side out that way, usually this goes like that. So it's kind of weird that it's blipping up here, but we'll see what happens with this. I just want you to pay attention if that daily confirms back down. Now, if it confirms back down, you see selling for a couple of days, it comes into here and curls back up. If it's still in positive territory, it can be positive. And this has not curled down yet. So Bitcoin is saying at this exact moment right now, even if we pulled down a little bit on this, it is still saying up. It is once this MACD crosses down that you need to pay attention, and I would pay very close attention. Okay, you do have some steep stuff going on here. Nice. All right, let's see the keys. Are they bouncing off that level? Yep, we're bouncing right off of it. Look at that. Okay, we'll see. You know, we get tons of bounces like this all the time. We'll see. Do the Qs, who thinks it? Who thinks the Qs have another little 30-minute trap left in them? I swear if my internet turns off. Also, can I actually like touch this line and touch the, there we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little better. Anyway, that's why we want a strong confirmation below there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. The Qs are just out there, daily expected move now. So now what happens? Well, we can look at this and go, 5 minutes showing some potential here, pretty negative. If I was a day trader, I'd be looking for, see something like that. Or see us go retest this level right here. The thing you're worried about, probably this, right? But we'll see if something sets up here. You're really deep now. See, look, when you're really deep, go really deep, come back up, bounce back down, curl back up, bounce back down, You gotta get back to positive at least on a 5 minute here, guys. But we don't like 5 minutes. Screw those. 30-minute charts only, baby. No, no, we're not doing that. All right, let me go look around at some charts over here for a moment. Just give me a brief second here so I can click around and look at some stuff. Okay, first of all, PCC rising pretty dramatically. Dollar seems like did not confirm up on the daily yet for the dollar. Good consolidation, actually. Consolidating for the dollar right now. Looks like it's consolidating for a move up or down, probably dictated by tomorrow. We have volatility now up 5.79%. We have the Dow Jones that still has not seen a bounce. Still has not seen a bounce. Now, one thing with DIA, there is something I wanted to draw up here. I believe it is this connection. All right, I wanted to do this. Let's not make this a frickin' the thickest bar that you've ever seen. So this is what I'm kind of paying attention to. You notice we're heading down towards a weekly expected move right there. And where are you testing now? You failed on the retest of this breakout area, very simply. Where are you testing now? Well, where's the big gap? Where is the big support? Where's the zone that has big support here? It's probably right here. Right, where's that gap area? Right there. Take it for the low of this bar right here. There's your zone. And look, it happens to be right at the weekly expected move. And you have a little trend line coming up here. You might have your daily pullback finishing up here for the DIA. And if it's finishing up for the DIA, hopefully we see some rebalancing of stuff, man. We'll see. Sorry, let me look at some other stuff real quick. Let's go over to the Qs. I'm gonna leave you guys here again. I just wanted to point that out. The SPY, still in our channel, by the way, for the SPY. Very, very good. Qs showing weakness. IWM. I don't want to do the same thing here. I want to see if this really lines up. Not the best. We're not going to do that. I don't want to convince myself. Looking for the daily to turn up on TLT. Big news tomorrow for that guy. Apple, daily pullback. Tesla, daily pullback. Amazon, daily pullback. NVIDIA with a perfect test of... Nope, not perfect. You were... 8.6. Ooh, you were like 16 cents away or something like that, or 18 cents, something like that. 20 cents away from the weekly expected move for NVIDIA. Interesting. What are you doing? AMD. I'm going to tell you guys AMD is at a monthly expected move right now. I'm just going to tell you. You guys are here live. You guys are great. Meta. I look at this on the daily and I see flagging. I'm just leaving you guys on the queues while I look at things that are important. Or could be important. Sorry about that. If it was really important, I would be bringing it over. But so far, I'm just saying, hey, daily pullback would be nice. Daily pullback would be nice. Daily pullback would be nice. Google. Uh-oh. Oh, Mr. Goog. This is what we were paying attention to. 30-minute cross down. That's your first sign. You have not lost the 5. You do have a confirmation of this move right now. The 2-hour is confirming down. You have 54 minutes left in this. You have not lost the moving average, right? This is a confirmation. The better confirmation is if this closes down here, right, like that, all right? But Google might just be an opportunity. We'll see. If we can get something like this going again, wouldn't you like that? If we can get this to happen again and it scoops up and you see a big move like that, wouldn't you be happy? I'd be happy. Google. Okay, AMC. Let's see what you're doing. Undecisive. GME. Still doing it. Still doing the thing up there. DJT. 2-hour chart here showing some pretty steep divergence. Has not confirmed yet on the 2-hour. SoFi. Ooh, okay, SoFi we might want to talk about just for a second here. That is not good, okay? Look at the 2-hour here for SoFi. You see, we made that next move higher and we held the divergence point. That's very important. You know, we've talked a lot about these moves extending. What do they have to do to really convince you, okay, this is going to be a bullish trend again? They have to take out the MACD or at least the RSI in some way. If SoFi does confirm here and you see it keep dropping, it goes negative, that's bad because you held the divergence. Actually, you held this pretty clean, almost directly. Almost. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. So we have to be aware that SoFi can drop a little bit more from this signal. Now, is SoFi really, really bearish and I think it's going to go down forever and ever and ever? No, I think you could see a dramatic thing down because you've gone up very quickly, but I'd be paying attention to possibly 14. If not 14, then I'd say 1150. Just wanted to point that out. That is not a good look for SoFi on the 2-hour. Has not confirmed yet, but right now, not the best look. Palantir, still crossing down on that 2-hour chart, does confirm in about 52 minutes. As of right now, Palantir's in a similar boat as SoFi, just seeing, hey, a daily pullback would be nice for these things. All right, let's go back to the keys and see if they're just gonna totally ignore that, not give us a daily pullback, and we're gonna keep booming all the way into Christmas. Yo. Okay, guys, I gotta go grab something. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something, and then I'm gonna talk to you guys in the chat. All right? I just wanted to look through some stuff, make sure we're seeing things a little bit clearly across the board here. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. All right. Sorry, boys and girls. I didn't have a dippy in that whole time this morning. God dang, I'm feeling good, huh? Didn't even need a dippy for this morning. Okay, there we go. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. A lot will be dictated by tomorrow. So these stocks that are pulling back, these 2 and 3%, these things can go. Look at AMD. Look at AMD. That is so freaking crazy. I think that's something interesting for sure. I'm doing. I have to. If I see this today, it's just like, come on. Like, look at that thing. And it's down by a monthly. It's like, that's so crazy to me. I do, gosh, AMD, I don't want to do it, man. I just don't want to. You're so terrible. Yeah. But it is at a great support level. It's at a breakout area. Oh, baby's crying. That's no good. We don't like to hear baby crying. All right, I gotta look at volatility here, and then I'm gonna look at the chat, all right? Okay, we like to fill gaps. We really like to fill gaps. We've got 2. Guess we should be saying. All right. Everyone is talking about AMD long leaps like it's a crazy opportunity. It does not look bad, guys. I know I hate on AMD for a long time, but this is a great 30-minute signal. You have good 2-hour signals. You see on the daily, you even have potential for flat divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI, okay? I'm going to be honest, this does not look bad. It really doesn't. Now, it looks bad when you get to weekly and daily for the most part, but your 2-hour, your 30-minute, it does not look that bad. Exactly, Chad, and that's what I'm kind of waiting for. Yeah, I'm just sitting kind of waiting for that potential for it to actually curl up, right? I want that to actually confirm for me. There's a lot of risk when volatility is moving like this. And if you go look at VIX 9-day, I'm just gonna do this real quick on the weekly here. Look how close this is to just booming. Like, if you get this to go like that, you got another one of these moments. Now, for volatility itself, I'm still leaning towards us getting down to 12.12. But like, look, if this thing wanted to take off right now, frickin' A, like, now is the time. But okay, here's the thing. What did we say we really wanted? Well, we wanted a pop from volatility that then subsides, right? So maybe we need to pay a little bit more attention to things that have curled down on their daily that are big stocks. So even the SPY curling down like this, if we did that, I would maybe see it as an opportunity. The Qs are a risky thing at this business. Maybe the opportunity is here. Maybe the opportunity is here. You know what I mean? Maybe the opportunity is actually here. But that would suggest they're going to cut rates pretty fast. See, I just don't see the opportunities here and here. I see them more in NVIDIA, actually. I really do. I mean, at least for something that has pulled back down to the center line, could go back into that uptrend. I really see it for NVIDIA. AMD, a little bit deep, but we have those great little signals in here saying it's potentially good. And we're at a monthly expected move. Now, we can head lower. I think it's very good for Chad to point out that we can head lower because we're not technically at a weekly expected move yet. But I want you to see the last time we were at this price, what ended up happening. They really buy this thing up at this level. And we had divergence down there again. So very interesting look, very significant. Like, really, I want to talk about this. If this curls up, This is saying it's an opportunity for a little bit of time because you have triple divergence on the 30-minute. You have volatility in the stock. This is pointing directly upward. If that confirms, that's the key thing. It's got to confirm. And then the other thing is, let's look at the other indicator and you're going, what the heck is this too? Oh, it's like directly upwards. Now you have violated a little bit, but like, look at that thing. That is still holding the divergence points really well. There you go. Like, it really does look pretty good. So leaps, someone taking leaps? Interesting. Let's do this too. Let's really get down to the nitty gritty of it. I wish that 5-minute looked better. 15 even holds it too. Right off of the monthly. Very interesting. Like literally, even if this just produces a 5-point move. Now it got away for confirmation. I'm just looking at the pricing of stuff right now, but man, I haven't traded AMD in a long time. And it does make me, and I want to be honest because you guys are, you know, watching me in real time talk about things. So I want to talk about my attitude during some of these things. This thing has dropped down dramatically. So the fear is there for me. Like I feel it. And if I zoom out on this on a daily scale, like, trust me, I feel the fear, right? I feel the fear. But if I really just look at this top, what do I see at the top? A 2-hour divergence. What am I seeing at the bottom here? A little 2-hour divergence. So do I think it's going to be as good as this drop? No. But do I think we could get a reaction to do something like this and then fail? Yeah, I think we could. So I might actually see if this thing confirms. And my fear is there, which means maybe I should start to do the opposite, right? Maybe I should be contrarian a little bit. And if this crosses up, no matter what I think about AMD, maybe I just say, hey, has a good likelihood to probably get to this zone, right? If we at least like take some kind of little bottled up behavior here, we would go like that. We'd maybe go like this and we'd go, okay, let's connect. We probably got to get rid of a lot of the wicks to get those 3 points. There's probably 3 points. Then we would measure this out to here. Then we go, okay, so the lowest that I should expect is probably, let me connect that down a little bit. I don't want to cheat. 131. That's still a great little move for a little trade, right? So even if this 30-minute curls up, maybe I target 131, 132, or just the zone above, or I have, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 contracts, and then I go, okay, I'm going to sell 8 of those at 131 and leave 2 runners, right? That's kind of my thinking right now. What do you guys think? Luke attitude, always awesome. Hey, I appreciate that, YS. Do you like do you know what I'm thinking? 30% of its price is supported by buybacks. It can go up anytime, whenever it wants. Yeah. I'm not going to play downside moves trucking with Josh, but Josh is wondering if anyone has the balls out there to try to short these guys. I would just say if this 2-hour crossed over, it'd be probably the longer out position that helps you. Mark, what I think about Apple is I think it taps out soon, but we're seeing some contradictions in the market. Now, do we see rebalancing? Do we see Apple go down while AMD and NVIDIA start to catch a bid? That could happen, right? For Apple, I'm not overexcited to get bullish on the stock until there's an opportunity. I don't really want to short anything like this because it can just keep doing what it's been doing over and over and over, right? This could even cross down on the 2-hour, just move sideways and cross up again, and then start to give it up, right? We could do this, and then do this. I want to pay attention when it's really close to the center line, considering this is overall short squeezing, continued bullish behavior, a huge bull run. Same thing with Tesla, right? Similar thing with Tesla. I don't really want to bet against these things. Amazon, I really am hesitant to, because this 2-hour could just do this, and then curl back up. So I'm just hoping right? As a trader, I'm trying to stay diligent and thinking, okay, if the dailies start to pull back. The only problem with a lot of these daily charts, if you notice the Bollinger Bands, we keep moving sideways a lot on these Bollinger Bands, and that opens up the door for a little bit more reward. You notice here, you're like, risk to reward is not there, right? This is an extended move where it keeps extending, keeps extending. The risk to reward is not necessarily there, but now you kind of have it, right? You have this little bit of space here. If I just think a little bit logically there. NVIDIA, you're going, oh, well, this is at bottom Bollinger. So what's the most likely thing to happen? Oh, let's take this into consideration, okay? Take this into consideration. Not necessarily contracts. We talk about how to more do the contracts in a more volatile environment. And we focus more on taking profit. The truth of contracts and things like that is, I'm someone who does things like, I don't mind taking out of the money because I like to, in a volatile environment, I like to sell my contracts pretty quick because usually I see a quick move. All right, I sell some contracts, I make some money, and then maybe I leave some runners, right? It's more, I think, centered around, hey, don't take something that's too YOLO-y, like don't be taking the little 1 and 2 cent contracts. It's more about, hey, does this have potential to have more value over the next 2 weeks? That's more how I look into it, right? So if I have this contract up here for 141, and that's, I don't know, let's just BS it and say that's 10 cents. And then I have 135 right here that say is $1. All right. Well, if I take this and this continues to go down, that can be worth 1 cent very, very fast. But if I take this and this continues to go down and maybe I have to manage the trade, that could only go down to like 85 cents, which means it would be better for my risk, right? It's still out of the money, but it's better for my risk. And then the good part is if it's out enough, if you just get a 3-point move like this, that most likely is going to double. So that's something I like to do personally, but there's tons of ways to do it. Some people just like to say, hey, I'm going to get one contract above the price where that 30-minute does confirm. 30-minute confirms up. They go, okay, 131 is my price now. Anything above that, I'm just going to make money, right? Some people do it that way. It just kind of depends. You got to find your style with the contracts and things like that. But for me, I like to do this. I like to go, okay, that's a reversal signal. I'll show you guys something I do, actually. Here, I'll show you what I do. So the SPY, let's just imagine for a second, because I think it's a good question. Let's just imagine for a second I'm at a weekly topside move early on in the week. Well, something I might target is the middle of my zone. If I see extreme weakness, I might even buy a couple contracts for the bottom of the weekly expected move. And then if we revert back down to that, that's going to gain a bunch of value. But I know that's the middle of my zone. That would be a great sell point. I YOLO because I like fast money. Well, that's true, though. I mean, here's the thing, YS. I mean, a lot of people's strategies, you could think of this too. And I know this might not be the most helpful thing, trucking with John. Or wait, who asked? Cuckoos. I know this might not be the most helpful thing for what you're thinking, but there's just a million ways to do it. Some people just like to use low amounts of money, right? Some people do their risk assessment on the position size. So let's go back over to NVIDIA and now think of this a little bit differently since we have these two white lines. Well, if I take that 10-cent contract instead of taking, say, a 135, and it's only 10 cents, which it's probably way more than that, by the way, for NVIDIA, just so you are aware. But if I take that and then I see a move like this, that 10 cents can now be worth 50 cents. And guess what? People are going to be attracted to that level at this point right here. So you will be able to sell those contracts very easily. And guess what? Your risk going into this, if I only have, what is it, like 10 contracts or something like that, well, that's $1,000. Well, if I have 10 contracts here at $1, that's going to be times 10. That's going to be like $10,000. Right? So I get how YS is doing it, and that's another way to do it. It's just the way that YS is doing it is a different form of, I would say, risk management in your position size. Now, to answer your question a little bit differently, Cuckoos, in the course, we more so talk about your money amount. So if I have $20,000 to trade, I might use $2,000 to trade options. I'm not going to risk all of my portfolio for options trading because that can be very volatile, right? So I might do $2,000. Now with the $2,000, am I going to do that and see one trade and go $2,000? No, I'm more so going to say, okay, I want to put behind a potential good signal, maybe one or two contracts, so $200 to $400. So I could use 10% to start out, right? If I have low money amounts, I want to be using $20,000 for the most part would be in markets considered low, not necessarily too low, but it's a great starting point. So what you want to see here is, hey, okay, I have 20,000. I'm only going to use 2,000 for options. And then I can use the 18,000 to trade back and forth just with regular shares. And then out of that 2,000 though, I just do about $200 to $500, say 10% to 25% for my trade. That way, if it goes wrong, just like YS said, I can do it again. And then if I'm right, I can maybe make a good amount there, and you're not ever trying to gain it back. You're more so just trying to, let me take good setup, manage the trade. Let me take good setup, manage the trade. You more so out of the, say if you use 250, you'd want to be going, okay, if this curls down again on a 30-minute, let's say it curls up, if it curls down again on a 30-minute, I'm going to take a 50% loss. So out of that 250, I lost 125. Then if that turns down and goes back up again, you know a weekly expected move is in this area, and you go, okay, that's probably the trap, that's probably the opportunity. Then it goes up like this, you do 250, say again, and that 250 now turns into 500, and you technically made overall 125 on the play. So you end up positive even if the trade goes wrong, and you look for the next setup. That's why we teach managing the trade in the course, because it will save you over time. Thank you, Checking with Josh, for saying that. Yeah, and it's just a simple conversation in the course about position sizing and not risking too much. Like, I don't want to put anything in a trade that will seriously hurt me, right? If I'm going to put money that could seriously hurt me, I'm not going to do an option pretty much. I'm not going to do an option pretty much. I'm going to be looking at investing. I'm going to be looking at shares. Or do it like me, YOLO everything and pray. I'll tell you what, all right? The next time NVIDIA does this, you can take a YOLO leap, all right? The next time NVIDIA crosses down on a weekly with divergence, which it already has, if it crosses down on the monthly, hey, I can take a short leap, right? If it crosses up though, that's when I really want to be paying attention, right? This is where I say, okay, let me take a year out position or something like that. I like YOLO and pray. It's fine. The thing is, YOLO is fine if you're not YOLOing all of your money. YOLOing at certain times and saying it's a YOLO, but only using $500 out of 20,000, I'm not necessarily going to hate on you for it. That's what I would say. I'm not going to combat you too much. Sorry, we need to go deeper. So yeah, hopefully you took something away from that. It's just there's a million different ways to do it. You're going to type it in online and find 20 things that people are saying. All you need to understand is today, very, very bullish trend. Tomorrow, very big event. Today, we're seeing some potentially good signals from stocks like AMD. You're seeing a huge dip down in NVIDIA that doesn't necessarily have the best signals, but you do have a daily swing trade opportunity. If that would cross back up, you see how quickly you would be positive. AMC is running. Oh shit, where the hell is that? There it is. Whoa! AMC's running. AMC's running. This can disrupt the market. GME's winning the battle right now. No one wants to tell me about these things. Come on, guys. I was talking to the chat for a long time. The heck, guys. Yeah, and it's this, Blind Owl. You would not walk up to a pool table, look at two balls that are potentially in a line, ignore everything else, and then just shoot it. No, you want to assess the board. You might want to see where, if I hit it with this amount of strength, how is the ball going to react afterwards? You would look at it, line it up, pay attention to speed, pay attention to everything else, right? So you're kind of doing that with your trade right now. So say with AMD, what am I doing right now? Well, right now I'm lining it up, right? I'm looking for things to line up. Once they are lined up, I want to know at what speed, at what pace do I want to hit the ball? Where am I aiming for? Where's the hole? Maybe the hole's here, right? And I'm aiming for this, and I want to see, okay, now how hard do I want to hit this and see if it can get there, right? I like that. I've been saying it about GME. Good man, good man. Yeah, you're paying attention to the right things. This is great. And you're using that weekly to head higher. This is great. This is great for the stock. I'm actually mad that this is like the one time I didn't play a GME option, and I don't even know why. I think it's because of my internet problems yesterday. I couldn't really look at stocks very well yesterday. Thank you for the in-depth answer. I'm definitely gonna rewatch that. Here's to a cup of coffee. Hey, thank you so much, Cuckoo. Yeah, I really do. If you guys ask a question that I think can be very helpful, I'm going to try to be as helpful as possible. So if you ever ask me a question, you didn't understand it, or you need me to answer in a different way, you didn't leave with something at least a little bit helpful to you, let me know, all right? And thank you so much for the $5. It means a lot, and I'm gonna take a big chug of my coffee for you this morning. Well, I haven't necessarily paid too much attention to USDT right now, but what you would more so want to think here is just like, let me go to a weekly chart and let me see the correlation. So if you want, I mean, that's something I would have to do. Most likely it would take longer than like 2 minutes, right? I would want to look at it very seriously. But you could even pull that out to a weekly or monthly scale and just see how that correlates over time. So I could do that potentially. If you want to, I can take a note of it. What would you like me to compare it to? Just stocks in general? Oh wait, I can't delete this note. I need that note. Let me write down your question so maybe I can look into it, okay? What about USDT dominance? Doesn't that affect stocks and crypto? Okay, so you're pretty much asking, how does USDT affect markets, right? You're asking markets, so crypto and stocks. Okay, so I can look into that, and maybe that's a topic that we can put in our Saturday video. I need to start using TP stop losses. Hey, I get you, yeah. It's a wild environment though. But all we were paying attention to was we're thinking very simply, right? We're like, we understand this is where it's going to freak people out. We still have consolidation. What do we have tomorrow? A massive event. And they're most likely, everyone, you know, these yields have headed higher. The Fed is not in a place where they are comfortable raising rates. I don't think that. Not as catchy as trade like water, but I like it, yeah. We were just trying to compare it because someone brings it up. You can relate, literally, you could probably give me any kind of situation and I can probably relate it to risk in markets and how markets move, right? Like, let's do this. You got a girlfriend? All right, you got a girlfriend? Well, maybe that girlfriend, you know, things are looking great. You go through the honeymoon phase and you hit that peak, right? Where you're like, damn, this is great. Then you kind of stay over at her house and you realize her house is a freaking mess. Like, it is a mess. And you go, man, now we're in a downtrend. Now I'm thinking, ugh, that's kind of bad. Oh, that's bad. But then She gets ready and you guys go out to dinner and she looks bomb as hell. So you're like, oh, we're back on the uptrend. We're going up. And then she wants to go out with her girlfriends and she cheats on you and creates a divergence, and then you end up falling down. Most people in relationships, they don't get out at the first red flag. They get out at the second, third, or fourth one. So it's like you literally can, it's kind of just like patterns pop up everywhere. And you'll see them everywhere. Once you trade stocks long enough like me, you start to connect things. It's like this, all this type of stuff happens everywhere. So we talked about, there's, a lot of people talking about potential corruption in elections, potential corruption in government spending, money laundering, and things like that. Well, when you see something bad, that's because if you're seeing it all at the same time, that's because of all the divergences you're making in real life, right? That's how I would say it. That's why we have peaks. That's why things get really, really bad all at once. I did see that. I was wondering if that was going to be spoofing or something like that at some point, but right now I'm sure it's paying. I think they like it. Oh, I'm supposed to do this right now, by the way. Five. I mean, we're running into 437. If 30-minute divergence on MACD, not RSI. This is a great move. Yeah, it's a great move. Exactly, skeptical. Well, I mean, I can't really talk. I've got like, 2 dogs, then she has 1 dog, and then I have a wife and a kid, so can't really talk like that. But Google, watch out for the 30-minute divergence, but just note, this could be rebalancing into something. This could just keep confirming back up. All right, this is a 30-minute. The real time I want to be worried is, hey, if that 2-hour confirms in 23 minutes, but is this a great confirmation? That's going to be the thing. Well, what I was talking about, Jack Katz, is look for opportunity. This market still remains to seem to be very, very bullish. DIA and IWM are the ones that gave you the pullback. So I'm paying attention to those possibly because those are the things that pulled back in a very bullish market. So do I think Google could drop here? Yes. But I want to see a great confirmation of that. Is this curling down a great confirmation right now? No, it's a positive bar, first of all. Second of all, we're not losing the 9. Third of all, we're not losing the 5. Yeah, I have the confirmation on my signals, but I want to think of things very clearly. If this is very, very bullish, then I want to be thinking, okay, I want a very good confirmation that this is going to go down. And that's why I'm not going to short a lot of things, right? I'm going to wait for the opportunity. And then that's very good timing because someone asked about DIA. DIA, this is the ultimate, I think, buy zone. This is where I think it needs to test. Actually, we could probably extend that up to where that actually opened up at. So right in here. But you'll notice our weekly is right in that area. So if I see a 2-hour divergence in this area, maybe we see an uptick. We go fill a gap. We go up a little bit, retest the 5, then we curl back down and we see something like this. That would be fantastic. That would be great. Now, maybe something like this is going to be happening where the 2-hour just curls up and it keeps going. Awesome. But what did I see at the low here? 30-minute divergence. So what should I be looking out for now? 30-minute divergence. Do I have it even right now? Pretty flat, not the best signal. And way down. So I don't even have reversal here. So this means DIA could do this, and then do this, and then I'd be happy. We're still holding that trend, right? That's the overall trend right now, by the way. That red line is the overall trend. Yeah, Jack Cat. So what I'm really saying here is this gave you a daily pullback. So be paying attention for reversal signals because this thing pulled back and it's still, if you really want to look at it, yeah, here we went through some trouble, but if we really look at this, what? Lower, higher low, higher low. Potential for higher low. Oh, higher low. Higher low, higher low. When we get to these lines, that's when we want to be paying attention. Where do I think NVIDIA has a high probability that this is a area where it catches a good bounce. Now, where is it bottoming? That's a big question because I don't, like I said, you're popping in, you're asking, where is this going to bottom? Well, we had a line 127.74, very important level. And you'll notice what happened the last time we got here. Well, we broke out. So that's our breakout area. All right, so we finally tested the real breakout area from this overall big move up. Okay, so what I want to pay attention to is, now, when you say, what was the question again? Let me think it again. Where's the bottom? Are you talking about this is where a million different things, and this is why YouTubers, I think, have a hard time is, because you could be talking about, is this the bottom for a 30-minute move? Is this the bottom for a daily move? Is this the bottom for a 2-hour move? Is this the bottom for a monthly investment? Well, you would more so be looking at, hey, okay, I don't have the best divergences here on the 30-minute, so this could just be a bottom on the 30-minute to reject again. Now, if we did this, then you could say, okay, now that, if it curls back up and that confirms, that could be a 2-hour bottom. 2-hour, what do we have down here? Well, weirdly enough, you actually do have divergence down here for a 2-hour. I want to be very clear about that. If the 2-hour confirms back up, you have a 2-hour bottom. And you potentially could curl up a daily, causing a daily upswing. All right, we look at this very clearly here. What do you see? Up. Now, that hasn't turned around yet, but you can pay attention to it and be ready to react. What do we see on the RSI at the same time? Up. Flat. Awesome. So you have a little bit right here. You have a lot across the way. So if this thing starts to grow, watch out. We could see a good upward move. Look at AMD. AMD curled up, confirming divergence. 30-minute. Is that about to curl up? Because that looks like this is clean. This is clean. Experience call option, month to 2 month. How long do you like to hold your plays, Andrew? Just so I'm aware. Like on average, how long do you hold? A week, 2 weeks in a monthly play? Yeah, clean looks good. Look for one that's clean and then go, okay, thank you if it confirms up, and then you know how to manage risk, right? Once you have complete control of when you're going to buy, like just control, focus on control of what the things you can't control the price action. You can control when you buy, you can control when you sell, you can control the position you take, you can control how much money you put behind that position. Right? So control those things really, really well, and you have a high probability of being a good trader. See, a couple of weeks. Okay, so this signal here, right, has a 2-hour signal behind it and a 30-minute signal behind it, suggesting the daily could curl up, and the daily is showing just a flatness here for the MACD. So this could mean, hey, this move could be quick. This move could go up for a little bit of time and end up into this zone. And you might say, hey, maybe it takes about 2 weeks to get there. What we'd look for. Right? If AMD curls, or if NVIDIA curls up on the daily, you would say, hey, that's probably going to curl up and extend for a few days. Those are the ones, like DIA. DIA, if this curls up in positive territory, it's very likely to take out that high. Wouldn't that take a couple of weeks? Wouldn't that take a couple of weeks? Now you might be like 1-2 days in, see that, and then go, okay, now it goes like this, weekly expected move. Okay, awesome. Maybe it takes about 2 weeks. Look for the ones giving you opportunities to get a little bullish right now, and just pay attention for downside, because we do have some looks that are suggesting there is more of a daily pullback to come in other things, but not necessarily showing again in the DIA. Apple has just left the train station. Boom. This is why I'm not overly excited to short Apple, and it never really gave us the signal, right? We never confirmed down. We violated divergence across. So the 2 hours, what I'm watching here, that 2-hour turns down, that's not necessarily a good sign. S-RUF. S-RUF. I'll look at it. And then I got to hop off. We have family coming over. Daily. This is going to be daily. Daily confirms up. You got to be the reason that I immediately zoomed down on the daily is because I saw this little blip over here. I saw this over here. So immediately I'm aware of how this looks bearish, right? Look at this. Ugh, not good. GME can disrupt the market, so pay attention if you need to manage risk in some plays, okay, guys? But left, head, right shoulder. What if everything runs together? Now, that's immediately what I want to see. So if I start to lose, right, very easy to do this. Probably a stop, right, on this type of thing, right? If I'm going to take it right now. I know it's purple. I want to change that to white just to show it. So this is a very important level. Now, am I going to buy just for no reason here? No, I'm going to see if that daily can confirm up. That would be one of the ways to get into this play and say, hey, I'm not going to fall through the floor here. Now, if I get a 2-hour divergence, that would help a lot. Do I have that right now? Not necessarily. You really don't. You can see if I hold it on the RSI, it's below that point. You can see on the MACD, if I hold it there, you're slightly below that point. So the 2 hours maybe not going to help me out that much, but the daily will. The daily goes like that. It says, hey, I'm going to break through. Then you manage risk. If that 2 hour turns back down, that's not going to be a good thing. And then if that 2 hour turns down and breaks through here, that's going to be bad. But if it can hold up there, then you have a 2 hour signal to help you out. Right, so we're kind of mixing together swing trading and divergence trading. RGTI I do like. That was one I mentioned this morning. I mentioned this first off this morning. But I'm just worried about a waterfall of selling coming in. We looked at MSTR for that. It's like, wow, are we really going to remain bullish? Or is the market just going to remain bullish for a few days? There you go, SPY coming back into the daily expected move. Remember, we have a big event tomorrow. Now, I want you to look at something very clear for the SPY. Look at the 2 hour, okay? It's by the center line. We're getting a confirmation in 13 minutes. That does say bad. That says bad for the SPY. I know it's green, but it's a negative bar. So we'll pay attention to that, and we want to see if that's proving in other stocks. Right? It's not proving for the Qs at all. It's not proving for Apple. It's not proving for Tesla. It's kind of trying to, but now unproving, right? It's unconfirming because you're not below these lines anymore. It's a negative bar, you can read into it, but just know this market's very, very bullish. Nvidia, nothing there. Meta, it's starting to just base out. Look, if that 2 hour confirms up, you got another uptrend. Microsoft, 2 hour confirms up, you got another uptrend. This is why we're very clear about you have to lose some key things here. Yes, this looked bearish for a moment, but you're still above the 5. We got to take that out and start turning it down. Cool. I dig it. Anyway, guys, I do have to hop off. Except for Nvidia. Yeah, I looked at Nvidia and I go, oh wait, not that one. We'll see what happens with this going forward. It can give us that daily pullback. That's what we're ultimately looking for. We see some great signals for AMD right now, and I do think it is worth maybe to look at SMH at the end of this video here. Just paying attention to what's showing, and right now you're not even seeing divergence for the 30-minute on both the MACD and RSI at the same time. You notice when it got bad. You notice when it got bad, what did you see? That. We don't really see that, right? We don't really see that right now. We don't really see that right now. So that means it can continue. Now, then we want to pay attention to how it can go down lower, and that would be the 2 hour. The 2 hour is showing it. Look at the 2 hour. Divergence. Divergence. You can see it. It's there. Slightly down. Slightly down. Actually, pretty good down on the MACD there. So, but look, you're still above the 5. So be open to the 30-minute being able to curl back up. You're going to see things start confirming on, 2 hour charts and things like that. Do I think the work is done here? Maybe not. Maybe we sit down here and pile up for a little bit. Then we see the reaction up. We're still looking for this from the Qs over here. Right? Originally here, gapped up. Now we're looking here. Not trying to short things. Let's see if VIX gives us a hint here. No real hint from volatility, just saying, hey, I could back off for a bit of time. Then maybe I curl up. Let's go check on AMC and GME, and then we'll head out of here. AMC running up towards 437, running into problems. Not the best reversal signals down here. GME running up above the weekly expected move. That's fantastic. So we'll see if that can continue. All right, guys, I do have to hop off. Hopefully you guys like getting daily expected moves because ping, look at the Qs. Could you take a look at sugar chart? Yeah, give me a ticker, Ben. I'll look at it for you real quick because we haven't looked at it. Sorry, Chris, I do have to hop off. I'm sorry you're late. Yeah, just give me the ticker you like. I'll look at one more. SB. Perfect. It's cool. I'm gonna rewind some. Yeah, just go through. There's some good things I think we were talking about. So this is futures, right? That's futures. Okay, we'll do futures. Futures are fine. You just want to extend things out. That's not good. That is not good. You're really holding really well for a daily pullback. Then you confirm up and you just do not see that extension. So looks like they're dropping off. Really still, even right here, retesting the breakout area. I would be interested to see a weekly on this, a weekly move or a monthly move. But I don't really see signals that say like, hey, yeah, this has to turn around right now. We would need to make stronger base as you have you have a lot of like fizzling out liquidity in here and then you just drop. So all of the power that you could have gained from this flagging over a long period of time just got distributed that way. That's a big problem. Yeah, monthly rejection, not a good sign for sugar, to be honest. Daily looks too wonky. I think you got to go weekly on this. Yeah, I think you got to go weekly. Weekly, the daily originally giving you divergence here, showing up on the weekly. If that weekly drops down to that level again, that's where you would look for, hey, is this going to curl back up into positive territory? For the shorter term, the daily curling up can mean positivity, but just know you're doing a lot of controlled behavior that just became uncontrolled, right? So you're seeing that selling just begin. So don't get too eager. Wait for clearer, more clear signals is what I would say. Still think the Qs are really in need of a daily pullback. So it'd be interesting to see if AMD gets this run, it's really crazy. 540 today. Well, 542.16 is your upside move. Now that would be confirmed at least with a 15-minute move higher. You can potentially see that. And then we'll watch out for traps by the end of the day. Right, SPY, you can curl up again. I still think this is just gonna bounce around like this until we make a decision with tomorrow's info. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys had some fun. I hope we were able to take something away from it. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, giving some donations. Thank you so much, Cuckoos. Thank you, Finn, for giving $10 and $5. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I'll use it to go get myself some coffee, all right? But have a great day. Manage your risk. You know, pay attention to what you can control. Right? You can control your position size. You can control when you get in. You can control which option you take. And then just make sure we're managing risk the whole time, trying to trade like water the best we can. Thank you guys so much for showing up today. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys later on YouTube to get you guys some daily expected moves, which have proven to be pretty damn helpful today. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.